Ladies and gentlemen, life has a way of breaking us in ways we never imagined. It shakes us, bends us, and sometimes it even leaves us shattered. But here's the truth. Being broken is not the end of your story. In fact, it is where a new story begins. Life has a way of unfolding in ways we least expect. One moment, everything seems to be falling into place, and in the next, it feels like the ground beneath us has been ripped away. It does not matter who you are, where you come from, or what your dreams are. Uncertainty is an undeniable part of life. Some people experience sudden losses, unforeseen failures, heartbreaks, betrayals, or unexpected challenges that seem impossible to overcome. But while we have no control over the twists and turns life presents, we do have control over how we choose to respond. And that response is what defines us. When adversity strikes, it is natural to feel helpless, angry, or even defeated. Many people allow their circumstances to dictate their lives, believing that their hardships are permanent roadblocks. They dwell on the unfairness of it all, asking, "Why me?" They allow bitterness and resentment to take over, believing that they have been dealt an unfortunate hand that they cannot change. While these emotions are valid and understandable, they can become dangerous when they turn into a pattern of helplessness. It is not the challenges themselves that destroy people. It is their unwillingness to rise beyond them. There are countless stories of individuals who have faced unimaginable setbacks but chose to respond with resilience instead of surrendering to despair. History is filled with people who have lost everything, been betrayed, suffered failures, or been physically and emotionally broken, yet they refused to let those circumstances define the rest of their lives. Instead, they made a conscious decision to rewrite their story. They chose courage over fear, action over excuses, and hope over hopelessness. Their response to adversity was not a reflection of their suffering, but a testament to their inner strength. When faced with difficulties, people often look outward for answers. They blame others, their environment, or their past. While external factors may play a role in shaping one's journey, true power lies in taking responsibility for one's own response. You cannot control what happens to you, but you can control how you react to it. You can choose to either let your struggles consume you or use them as stepping stones to grow stronger. Every difficult situation presents a choice to break or to build, to complain or to create, to surrender or to strive. The human mind is powerful. What we feed it determines how we perceive and respond to life's uncertainties. A person who constantly focuses on what is wrong, unfair, or painful will find themselves stuck in a cycle of negativity. But someone who actively chooses to seek solutions, learn from mistakes, and find opportunities even in hardships will always find a way to move forward. Mindset shapes reality. The same storm that drowns one person can teach another how to swim. Emotions play a significant role in shaping our responses. Fear, frustration, disappointment, and sadness are natural reactions to difficult situations, but the key is not to let these emotions dictate our actions permanently. Feeling pain does not mean you are weak. It means you are human. However, staying in pain and allowing it to control your life is a choice. Strength is not about suppressing emotions, but about acknowledging them and then deciding to act in a way that aligns with growth rather than defeat. Adaptability is one of the most crucial qualities in navigating an unpredictable life. The people who thrive are not those who avoid hardship, but those who learn to adjust and adapt. They recognize that life will never go exactly as planned, and instead of resisting change, they embrace it. They remain open to new possibilities, learn from their experiences, and develop the ability to pivot when necessary. This adaptability is not a natural talent. It is a skill developed through conscious effort. It is the ability to say, "This is not what I expected, but I will find a way forward." Resilience is another defining factor in how we respond to life's unpredictability. Resilient people do not have fewer problems. They simply refuse to let those problems dictate their lives. They fall, but they rise again. They fail, but they try again. They experience loss, but they choose to rebuild. Their strength is not measured by how much they suffer, but by how they refuse to let suffering control them. And the most inspiring part, resilience is not an inherited trait. It is something anyone can develop. It starts with a decision to refuse to give up. Perspective plays a massive role in shaping responses. Two people can go through the exact same situation, but their perspectives will determine how they emerge from it. One person may see failure as a dead end, while another sees it as a lesson. One may view rejection as proof of their inadequacy, while another sees it as an opportunity for redirection. Life does not label experiences as good or bad. Our perspective does. And when we shift our perspective, we shift our ability to handle challenges. It is easy to be positive and strong when everything is going well, but true character is revealed in the moments when life tests us. Those who can remain calm in chaos, hopeful in despair, and determined in the face of obstacles are the ones who truly understand the power of response. They do not wait for circumstances to be perfect. They create their own possibilities. They do not allow failures to define them. They use them as fuel to rise higher. No one can predict what life will bring. There will be moments of joy and moments of sorrow, moments of triumph and moments of struggle. But within every challenge lies an opportunity to shape your own response. You are not defined by what happens to you, but by the choices you make in response. You have the power to turn setbacks into comebacks, pain into purpose, and uncertainty into an opportunity for growth. The question is not whether life will test you, it will. The real question is, how will you respond? Excuses are the invisible chains that bind people to their past, holding them back from growth, success, and transformation. They may seem like harmless justifications, but in reality, they are self-imposed barriers that prevent progress. The more excuses one makes, the tighter these chains become, making it increasingly difficult to break free and move forward. Life presents countless opportunities, but only those who refuse to be trapped by their own excuses can truly seize them. Excuses are not external forces. They are internal narratives that convince people that they are incapable, unworthy, or not ready to take action. These narratives become so deeply ingrained that they feel like reality, when in truth they are simply limitations created by fear, doubt, or past failures. Many people live their lives telling themselves that they cannot achieve their goals because of circumstances beyond their control. They blame their upbringing, lack of resources, or the mistakes they have made in the past. While challenges and difficulties are real, they do not define a person's potential. Excuses, however, keep people rooted in the same place, preventing them from taking even the smallest step forward. Every time an excuse is made, it reinforces the idea that change is impossible, that the past determines the future, and that there is no way out. In reality, the only thing stopping anyone from moving ahead is their own unwillingness to take responsibility. The moment a person stops making excuses is the moment they reclaim their power to change their life. Fear is one of the biggest reasons people make excuses. The fear of failure, rejection, or even success keeps them from taking risks. It is easier to say, I can't do this because I don't have the right skills, or it's not the right time, than to actually take action and face the possibility of things not going as planned. But the truth is, no one is ever fully ready for anything in life. Growth happens in uncertainty, and the only way to move forward is to take action despite fear. Those who achieve great things are not those who never had doubts, but those who refuse to let their doubts dictate their actions. Excuses may provide temporary comfort, but they create long-term regret. Instead of allowing fear to build more excuses, one must recognize that every successful person once started from a place of uncertainty and chose to take action regardless. Excuses also stem from a deep-rooted reluctance to take ownership of one's life. It is easier to blame external factors than to accept responsibility for one's choices. People say, I don't have time, when in reality they are not prioritizing their goals. They say I wasn't given the same opportunities as others. others when they have not actively sought out new ones. They say, I can't do this because of my past, when they are the ones holding on to it. The hard truth is that no one else is responsible for making life better except the individual living it. No one is coming to fix things, and no one will hand success on a silver platter. The longer one waits for the perfect conditions, the more time is wasted in stagnation. The only way to break free from the chains of excuses is to take complete responsibility for the present and future, regardless of what has happened in the past. Excuses create a cycle that becomes harder to escape the longer it continues. The first time an excuse is made, it feels like a small thing, something that can be justified. But as time passes, excuses become habits. They shape one's identity, turning into beliefs that define how a person sees themselves. Someone who constantly says, I can't do this because I'm not talented enough, will start believing that they are fundamentally incapable. Someone who repeatedly says it's too late to change will convince themselves that their future is already set in stone. Excuses are not just words. They shape thoughts, actions, and ultimately outcomes. Breaking free from them requires an intentional shift in mindset. It requires replacing excuses with solutions, replacing doubt with effort, and replacing fear with action. Every person has a choice to either be held back by excuses or to take control of their destiny. It is never about having the perfect conditions or waiting for the right time. It is about making the best of what is available and taking one step at a time. The people who overcome obstacles are not the ones who had an easy path, but the ones who refuse to let obstacles become excuses. They saw challenges as opportunities to grow, failures as lessons, and setbacks as temporary. They understood that the more they fed their excuses, the more they limited their potential. Instead of saying, I can't, they asked, how can I? Instead of saying it's too late, they decided now is the time. Instead of saying I have failed too many times, they told themselves every failure is a step closer to success. Excuses will always be available, but so will opportunities. The choice is simple: either stay bound by self-imposed limitations or break free and take action. Life does not wait, and every excuse made today is a regret waiting to happen tomorrow. There is no perfect moment, no ideal conditions, no guarantee of success. There is only the decision to stop making excuses and start building the life that is truly deserved. Pain is one of the most inevitable experiences of life. No one walks through life untouched by struggles, hardships, or heartbreaks. Yet many people view pain as a curse, something unfair and undeserved, something that should never have happened to them. It is easy to fall into the mindset of questioning why pain exists, why suffering seems to find its way into life, and why things do not always go as planned. But pain is not an enemy, it is a teacher. It is through the hardest moments that true strength is discovered, through struggles that character is built, and through suffering that wisdom is gained. Pain, though difficult and often unwelcome, has the power to transform a person in ways that comfort and ease never could. When pain enters life, the natural reaction is resistance. People try to push it away, ignore it, or run from it. They wish it never happened, hoping to go back to a time before the struggle began. But resisting pain does not make it disappear. It only prolongs its lessons. Every difficult moment carries something valuable: a lesson, a revelation, a new perspective, or a strength that was previously undiscovered. Those who embrace their pain rather than fight it find themselves growing in ways they never imagined. Pain has a way of exposing hidden weaknesses, forcing people to confront their fears and making them question everything they once took for granted. It strips away illusions, revealing what truly matters. Some of the strongest people in the world have endured unimaginable struggles. They were not born with extraordinary strength. They built it through hardship. They faced failures, rejections, betrayals, and losses, yet instead of letting these experiences break them, they allowed them to shape them into something greater. Pain does not exist to destroy, it exists to refine. Just as fire strengthens steel, adversity strengthens the soul. Growth does not happen in comfort. When everything is easy, there is no reason to change, no need to push limits, no opportunity to discover hidden resilience. Pain forces people out of their comfort zones, pushing them into unfamiliar territory where true self-discovery happens. The difference between those who rise from pain and those who remain stuck in it lies in perception. Some see pain as the end of their journey, a punishment, a reason to give up. Others see it as a new beginning, a challenge to overcome, a tool for transformation. Pain can be either a prison or a doorway. It depends on how it is viewed. Those who allow pain to define them become trapped in their suffering, unable to move forward. But those who choose to learn from it emerge wiser, stronger, and more determined than ever before. The most powerful stories of success, courage, and resilience are not those of people who never suffered, but of those who turned their suffering into strength. Pain also teaches empathy. People who have experienced deep struggles understand the hardships of others. They become more compassionate, more understanding, more willing to help. It is often said that those who have suffered the most are the ones who spread the most kindness. This is because pain has humbled them, made them see life differently, and given them the ability to connect with others on a deeper level. A person who has never struggled cannot fully appreciate the depth of another's pain. But someone who has endured hardship knows what it feels like to be broken, lost, or hopeless. That understanding allows them to be a source of support for others. There is a choice in every painful situation. Either allow it to destroy or allow it to teach. Either let it become a reason to stop trying or use it as motivation to rise even higher. Pain can make a person bitter or better. It all depends on the response. Some of the greatest achievements in history were born out of pain. The most inspiring figures are those who used their struggles as fuel to keep going. They refused to let their hardships define them, and instead they allowed those experiences to mold them into something stronger. They understood that without struggle, there is no progress, and without pain, there is no real growth. Healing from pain does not mean forgetting or pretending it never happened. It means acknowledging it, understanding its purpose, and using it to become a stronger version of oneself. Scars do not mean weakness. They mean survival. They are reminders of battles fought and lessons learned. Every hardship carries a message, and every struggle has something to teach. The sooner one embraces pain instead of resisting it, the sooner its true value becomes clear. Pain is not a curse, though it may feel like one in the moment. It is a guide, a mentor, a force that shapes and strengthens. It is through pain that resilience is built, character is developed, and true growth occurs. Those who understand this do not fear pain. They embrace it, knowing that every struggle brings them closer to becoming the person they were meant to be. Self-pity is one of the most deceptive and dangerous traps in life. It disguises itself as comfort, as a way to process pain, but in reality, it is a roadblock to growth. It keeps people stuck in a cycle of helplessness, convincing them that they are victims of their circumstances with no way out. While struggles, disappointments, and heartbreaks are inevitable, choosing to dwell in self-pity only deepens the wounds. It does not heal, it does not help, and it does not bring change. The longer one indulges in self-pity, the harder it becomes to break free and take action. Growth requires movement, but self-pity keeps people stagnant. It makes them believe that their problems are too big, that life is unfair, and that they are powerless. The truth is, no matter how broken one feels, no matter how difficult the situation, the power to rebuild always exists. The first step is to stop feeling sorry for oneself and to take control. Life is unpredictable and hardships will come. Some people lose everything in an instant, while others face years of struggle. But in every situation, there are two choices: to remain trapped in self-pity or to stand up and fight. Those who stay in self-pity waste valuable time and energy focusing on what went wrong instead of finding a way forward. They replay past mistakes, dwell on unfair situations, and compare their struggles to others who seem to have it easier. This mindset does not change the past, nor does it improve the future. It only creates more suffering. The only way out is to shift focus from problems to solutions, from pain to purpose. Growth begins when one decides to stop being a victim of circumstances and starts taking responsibility for their own life. Every person who has ever achieved something great has faced difficulties. No one reaches success without setbacks, failures, and moments of doubt. The difference between those who succeed and those who stay stuck is not the absence of hardship, but the response to it. People who refuse to indulge in self-pity take action, even when they feel broken. They acknowledge their pain, but do not let it control them. They recognize that while they cannot always change what happens to them, they can control how they react. No matter how unfair life may seem, self-pity is never the solution. Strength is built through resilience, not through dwelling on suffering. There will always be reasons to feel sorry for oneself. Life is not perfect and challenges will continue to arise. But dwelling on them does nothing to make things better. Standing up and rebuilding, no matter how broken one feels, is the only way forward. It does not have to be a dramatic transformation overnight. Small steps taken consistently lead to progress. Choosing to get up every day and take action, no matter how difficult it feels, is what separates those who grow from those who remain stuck. The process may be slow and setbacks may happen, but as long as one refuses to stay in self-pity, change is possible. Self-pity also affects relationships. People who constantly dwell on their struggles push others away. They expect sympathy but do not take action to improve their situation. Over time, this drains those around them. True support comes when people see someone trying to rise despite challenges, not when they see someone endlessly complaining without making an effort to change. The strongest relationships are built on resilience, on the ability to support each other through hardships without allowing negativity to consume everything. The hardest moments in life test character. It is easy to be strong when everything is going well, but true strength is revealed in adversity. The choice to rise despite pain, to take action despite fear, and to rebuild despite feeling broken is what defines a person. Every setback has the potential to be a stepping stone. Every hardship carries a lesson. Self-pity blinds people to these lessons, keeping them focused on what they have lost instead of what they can gain. Growth happens when one shifts from asking, "Why did this happen to me?" to "What can I do about it?" That change in perspective is the key to breaking free from self-pity and stepping into a life of resilience and strength. No one is exempt from pain, but no one is powerless against it either. The past cannot be changed, but the future is always in one's hands. No matter how broken one feels, there is always a way forward. The first step is to stop feeling sorry for oneself. The next is to take action. The road to growth is not easy, but it is always worth it. Standing up and rebuilding despite all odds is what leads to true transformation. The choice is always there, to stay stuck or to move forward. Those who refuse to let self-pity define them will always find a way to rise. The people we surround ourselves with have a powerful impact on our mindset, growth, and overall direction in life. Every person in our circle influences us in one way or another, either pushing us towards success and positivity or pulling us into negativity and stagnation. It is easy to overlook the significance of our environment, but the truth is, the company we keep shapes our thoughts, beliefs, and even the way we see ourselves. If we constantly surround ourselves with people who complain, doubt, and spread negativity, we will gradually adopt the same mindset. On the other hand, when we are around people who are ambitious, supportive, and positive, we absorb their energy and motivation. Choosing wisely who we allow into our lives is one of the most important decisions we can make. Life is already full of challenges, and the last thing anyone needs is to be weighed down by toxic influences. Negative people drain energy, fill conversations with complaints, and discourage dreams. They highlight obstacles instead of opportunities, problems instead of solutions, and doubts instead of confidence. Spending too much time with them makes it difficult to maintain a positive outlook. Their fears become contagious. Their insecurities become distractions, and their negativity becomes a heavy burden. Even the strongest individuals can find themselves affected by constant exposure to doubt and pessimism. The more we engage with negativity, the more it clouds our judgment and limits our potential. This is why it is crucial to be intentional about the kind of people we allow into our personal space. On the other hand, positive and uplifting people inspire growth, encourage action, and celebrate progress. They remind us of our potential, help us see possibilities even in the darkest moments, and push us to become the best version of ourselves. They're the ones who offer support without judgment, who believe in us even when we doubt ourselves, and who motivate us to keep going despite obstacles. Being around such people creates an environment of growth and possibility. Their energy is contagious in the best way, making it easier to stay focused, optimistic, and driven. They do not allow self-doubt to take over. Instead, they challenge us to rise above our fears and take action. The people we surround ourselves with also influence the way we handle setbacks. Life is full of ups and downs, and during difficult times, the support system we have can make all the difference. If we are surrounded by those who constantly complain, blame circumstances, or dwell on failures, it becomes tempting to do the same. But if we are surrounded by those who focus on solutions, who remind us that setbacks are temporary, and who encourage us to keep moving forward, we develop resilience. In moments of doubt, their belief in us can reignite our own confidence. Their words and actions serve as a reminder that failure is not the end, but rather a lesson on the path to success. It is also important to recognize that positivity does not mean blind optimism or avoiding reality. True positive influences are not those who ignore problems or pretend everything is perfect. Instead, they are the ones who acknowledge challenges but choose to focus on solutions rather than limitations. They uplift not by offering empty words, but by providing support, encouragement, and guidance. They push us to grow, to challenge ourselves, and to step out of our comfort zones. They remind us that even when things seem difficult, there is always a way forward. Evaluating the people in our lives requires honesty. It is important to ask, do the people around us push us toward growth or hold us back? Do they fill our minds with possibilities or with doubts? Do they inspire confidence or feed insecurity? The answers to these questions determine whether our environment is helping us become better or keeping us from reaching our full potential. Cutting ties with negativity is not always easy, especially when it involves long-term relationships or friendships. However, prioritizing personal growth and well-being should always come first. Protecting our energy and mindset is essential for success and happiness. At the same time, surrounding ourselves with positivity is not just about finding the right people. It is also about being the right person. If we want to attract motivated, kind, and ambitious individuals, we must embody those qualities ourselves. Positivity is a two-way street. Just as we seek encouragement and support from others, we must also be willing to offer the same. Being a source of positivity in someone else's life not only strengthens relationships, but also reinforces our own mindset. When we uplift others, we uplift ourselves. In the end, life is too short to be surrounded by those who drain energy and limit potential. Choosing the right people to be around is an act of self-care and self-respect. The company we keep will either fuel our dreams or suffocate them, inspire confidence or pull us back. Making the decision to surround ourselves with those who uplift and encourage us is one of the most powerful steps we can take toward a fulfilling and successful life. Gratitude is one of the most powerful forces for transformation. It has the ability to shift perspectives, change attitudes, and open doors to possibilities that may otherwise remain unseen. Life is filled with both blessings and challenges, and what we choose to focus on determines how we experience the world. Many people go go through life counting their losses, dwelling on what they lack, and feeling weighed down by disappointments. They focus on missed opportunities, personal failures, and things that did not go according to plan. While setbacks and hardships are an inevitable part of life, allowing them to dominate our thoughts creates a mindset of lack, resentment, and dissatisfaction. Gratitude, on the other hand, allows us to shift our focus from what is missing to what is present, from what is wrong to what is right, and from what we have lost to what we still have. This shift in perspective has the power to completely transform not only our mental and emotional state, but also the way we respond to life's challenges. When we practice gratitude, we train our minds to see abundance instead of scarcity. It is easy to take things for granted, the people who support us, the opportunities we have, the simple joys of everyday life. When we fail to acknowledge these blessings, we risk falling into a cycle of never feeling satisfied, always wanting more, and constantly comparing ourselves to others. But when we make the effort to recognize and appreciate what we already have, we begin to see how much there is to be thankful for. The air we breathe, the body that carries us, the mind that thinks, the experiences that shape us, these are all gifts that often go unnoticed. Even in difficult times, there is always something to be grateful for, whether it is the strength to endure, the lessons learned, or the people who stand by our side. Gratitude also has the ability to transform adversity into growth. Life does not always go as planned, and challenges can sometimes feel overwhelming. However, when we approach these situations with gratitude, we begin to see them in a different light. Instead of viewing hardships as unfair obstacles, we start to recognize them as opportunities for learning and personal development. Every setback carries a lesson. Every disappointment strengthens resilience, and every struggle shapes character. Gratitude allows us to embrace these experiences, not with resentment, but with an understanding that they are part of the journey toward becoming stronger, wiser, and more compassionate individuals. It reminds us that even when things are not perfect, there is still value in the experience. Another way gratitude transforms life is by improving relationships. When we appreciate the people in our lives, we build stronger and deeper connections. It is easy to focus on what others do wrong, to expect more from them, or to take their presence for granted. But when we consciously acknowledge and express gratitude for the kindness, love, and support we receive, we strengthen our relationships. A simple thank you or an expression of appreciation can make a world of difference in how we interact with others. Gratitude fosters empathy, kindness, and understanding, which in turn creates a more positive and uplifting environment. The more we appreciate others, the more they feel valued and encouraged to continue spreading positivity. Gratitude also has a direct impact on mental and emotional well-being. Studies have shown that people who regularly practice gratitude experience lower levels of stress, anxiety, and depression. This is because gratitude shifts the mind away from negativity and redirects it toward positivity. When we focus on what we are thankful for, we naturally reduce feelings of frustration, envy, and dissatisfaction. Gratitude rewires the brain to seek out the good in every situation, making it easier to maintain a positive outlook even in challenging circumstances. It is not about ignoring difficulties, but about refusing to let them overshadow the blessings that exist alongside them. Moreover, gratitude enhances self-worth and confidence. When we appreciate what we have accomplished, the strengths we possess, and the journey we have taken, we begin to see ourselves in a more positive light. Many people spend so much time criticizing themselves, focusing on their failures, and doubting their abilities that they fail to recognize how far they have come. Practicing gratitude toward oneself is just as important as expressing it toward others. Recognizing personal growth, small achievements, and moments of courage can boost confidence and motivation to keep keep moving forward. Instead of dwelling on imperfections, gratitude encourages us to celebrate progress no matter how small. Living with gratitude also attracts more opportunities and abundance. When we approach life with a mindset of appreciation, we become more open to possibilities. We no longer operate from a place of lack or fear, but from a place of contentment and trust. People are naturally drawn to those who radiate positivity and gratitude, which in turn creates new connections, experiences, and opportunities for growth. Gratitude shifts energy from focusing on what is missing to welcoming more of what is already good. It creates a cycle of positivity where appreciation leads to more reasons to be grateful. Ultimately, gratitude is not about denying hardships or pretending that everything is perfect. It is about choosing to focus on the good no matter the circumstances. It is about recognizing that even in the midst of struggle, there are blessings to be found. It is about understanding that the more we count our blessings, the more abundant life becomes. Gratitude does not change external situations, but it changes the way we perceive and respond to them. It is a daily practice, a mindset, and a way of life that has the power to transform even the most difficult journeys into meaningful and fulfilling experiences. Life has a way of throwing unexpected challenges, hardships, and disappointments at us, making it easy to believe that our circumstances define who we are. Many people feel trapped by their past, as if their struggles, mistakes, or misfortunes are permanent labels that determine their worth and potential. But the truth is, no one is defined by what they have been through. Circumstances are temporary, but the strength to rise above them is what truly shapes a person's identity. What matters is not where you come from, what difficulties you have faced, or how many times you have fallen. What matters is your courage to rebuild, to rise, and to create a new path for yourself despite the obstacles in your way. There are countless stories of people who have experienced unimaginable hardships, poverty, loss, failure, rejection, and even betrayal. Some people allow these experiences to break them, convincing themselves that they are powerless to change their fate. They look at their struggles as a life sentence, believing that because they were born into hardship or have made mistakes, they are destined to remain stuck. But others in the same situation choose to fight back. They refuse to let their past control them and instead use it as fuel to become stronger. They understand that while circumstances may shape experiences, they do not have the power to determine destiny unless they are allowed to. A person's true strength is revealed in how they respond to adversity. It is easy to be confident when life is smooth, but real courage is shown when everything falls apart, and the choice to rise or stay down must be made. Some of the most successful and inspiring people in the world did not come from privilege or an easy life. They faced rejection, failure, and pain, but they refused to let their circumstances define them. Instead of saying, "This is just how things are for me," they said, "I will create something better." That determination, that refusal to be a victim of circumstances is what separates those who succeed from those who remain stuck. People often feel defined by their failures, as if making a mistake means they are forever marked by it. But failure is not an identity. It is an event, a lesson, a temporary setback. What defines a person is what they do after they fail. Some people let failure break them, allowing self-doubt and fear to take over. Others use failure as a stepping stone, as proof that they are trying, growing, and learning. The ability to rebuild after failure is what makes a person truly strong. It is not about never falling, it is about always getting back up. Pain, too, is often mistaken as an identity. People who have suffered deeply sometimes begin to see themselves only through the lens of their pain. They think, "I am broken," or "I am unlucky," or "nothing ever works out for me." But pain does not define who you are. It is something you have experienced, not something you are. Pain may change a person, but whether it makes them weaker or stronger is a choice. Those who allow their pain to teach them rather than destroy them find a way to transform even the darkest moments into something meaningful. Rebuilding after hardship takes immense courage. It is not easy to start over after losing everything. It is not easy to believe in oneself after years of doubt. It is not easy to find hope when everything seems to be falling apart. But the human spirit is far stronger than any circumstance. No matter how many times a person has failed, no matter how many obstacles they have faced, there is always the possibility of rebuilding. It starts with a mindset shift, choosing to see oneself as capable rather than defeated, as resilient rather than broken, as a fighter rather than a victim. Breaking free from the limits of circumstances requires action. It is not enough to wish for change or to hope for a better life. It takes effort, discipline, and an unwillingness to give up. Small steps lead to progress, and each decision to move forward, no matter how small, is a victory. It may take time and setbacks may happen, but as long as there is movement, there is growth. Rebuilding does not mean erasing the past, but rather using it as a foundation for something stronger. It is about taking every hardship, every failure, and every lesson and turning it into fuel for the journey ahead. Self-belief plays a crucial role in this transformation. If a person constantly tells themselves that they are limited by their past, that they are not good enough, or that they will never succeed, they create a mental barrier that prevents progress. But when they shift their mindset to one of possibility, strength, and resilience, they open the door to change. It is not about ignoring the past, but about refusing to let it control the future. Every day is an opportunity to rewrite the story, to prove that circumstances do not define identity, and to take another step toward becoming the person they were meant to be. In the end, a person is not their past, their failures, or their hardships. They are defined by their strength, their choices, and their willingness to rebuild. No matter how difficult the journey has been, the future is always open to those who have the courage to rise. Taking that first step toward change is often the hardest part of any journey. Many people spend their lives waiting for the right time, the right circumstances, or the perfect moment to begin. They convince themselves that they need more preparation, more confidence, or more resources before they can take action. But in reality, there is no such thing as a perfect moment. Life does not pause until everything aligns perfectly, and the longer one waits, the more time is lost. The future is not something that arrives on its own. It is something that is built step by step with action. The only way to rebuild, to grow, and to create a better life is to start right now, exactly where you are, with whatever you have. Fear is often the biggest obstacle that holds people back from taking that first step. The fear of failure, the fear of the unknown, and the fear of stepping outside of one's comfort zone can be overwhelming. But fear is only powerful when it is allowed to dictate actions. The moment a person decides to move forward, despite fear, they weaken its grip. Every great achievement, every transformation, every success story begins with a moment of courage, choosing to take that first step even when uncertainty looms. It is in that moment of action that change begins. Many people believe that they need to feel ready before they can start. They wait for confidence to come, for motivation to strike, or for circumstances to improve. But the truth is, readiness does not come before action. It comes because of action. Confidence is built by doing, not by waiting. Motivation grows through progress, not through hesitation. The first step is rarely easy, but it is necessary. Once it is taken, momentum follows, and with momentum comes growth. A person does not have to know every detail of their journey before they begin. They simply have to start and trust that they will learn along the way. Excuses often delay the process of taking action. People tell themselves they do not have enough time, that they are too old or too young, that they lack the right resources, or that circumstances are not favorable. But there will always be reasons to delay if one looks for them. Excuses create a false sense of security, allowing people to stay where they are instead of pushing forward. But no one has ever built a better life by waiting. Those who achieve their goals and rebuild their lives are not the ones who had perfect conditions. They are the ones who decided to take action despite imperfection. imperfection. Taking the first step does not have to be dramatic or overwhelming. It can be something small. A single decision, a simple change, a minor shift in daily habits. The key is to move. Progress is not measured by how fast one moves, but by the fact that they are moving at all. Even small steps lead to big changes over time. A person who starts today is already ahead of the person who waits until tomorrow. Consistency is more important than speed, and the willingness to take action matters more than the size of the step. Doubt is another barrier that prevents many people from starting. They question whether they are capable, whether they will succeed, or whether their efforts will even make a difference. But doubt is only a voice in the mind. It does not determine reality. The only way to prove doubt wrong is through action. Many of the greatest accomplishments in history were made by people who had doubts, but moved forward anyway. Strength is not found in the absence of doubt, but in the refusal to let it stop progress. One of the most powerful realizations a person can have is that they are in control of their own future. No one else can take the first step for them. No one else can decide to change their life. The responsibility to begin to take action and to move forward lies in their own hands. Waiting for external factors to change will only lead to more waiting. The power to create a new path is already within them. It simply needs to be activated. Regret often comes not from the things people have done, but from the things they never started. Time passes, whether action is taken or not, and looking back with a realization that opportunities were missed can be painful. The best way to avoid regret is to take action now, to start moving forward instead of waiting. The future is built with each choice made today. Those who take the first step open the door to possibilities they never imagined. There will be obstacles, challenges, and setbacks along the way, but none of those are reasons to stay stuck. Every journey comes with difficulties, but every difficulty also brings a lesson. Those who choose to start despite challenges develop resilience, strength, and the ability to overcome. The first step may feel uncertain, but it is the most important step of all. At any moment, a person can decide to change their life. They can choose to stop waiting and start building. They can refuse to let fear, doubt, or excuses hold them back. The future is waiting, but it will not wait forever. The time to take that first step is now. So today I leave you with this. No more excuses, no more waiting, no more self-pity. This is your moment. This is your life. Rebuild it and make it beautiful. Thank you.